What's up, guys? It's Lord Both here for another video, and yesterday I put out a video really late at night, I guess really early this morning, and it was covering the Ghost of Yotai dev and them basically making light of Charlie Kirk being assassinated. And I basically said, fuck this game. And I still firmly have that sentiment. The problem is, with time, the rot in the gaming industry from inside of these vile, inhuman creatures, and that's what I'm going to call them from now on. They're not humans anymore. They don't think of people like me as a human person. They don't think of people with conservative views as humans. They don't think of anybody who doesn't have the same exact fervor views as they do as anything but subhuman. And that is what makes them, in my eyes, subhuman now. I tried for a very long time to find compromise and be accepting and try not to other these kinds of people who view people like me with what I believe with such fervent hate as not humans, as something purely evil. But that's where I am right now. These are not humans. These are evil creatures. And if they're going to continue to think of me as something that's not human, to the point where people are now having their blood spilt, well, I'm not going to think of them as human either. And I'm not calling for any kind of violence or any kind of harm to be done to them physically or anything. But you know what? These people, if they faced economic ruin, if they lost their job, if they get canceled online, I won't feel bad anymore. I won't argue the fact of, oh, what about the lay person who just doesn't have these opinions, that just work at the company? What's going to happen to them and their job? No, I don't feel bad anymore. You know why? Because if that lay person works there, my guess is that they're okay with those opinions being floated around. Or even if they're not, they're probably going to get laid off by a company like Sucker Punch, just like all these other AAA companies do, where they bring in a bunch of workers that are basically temp employees, contract workers, even though they're hired on for full jobs. They're then let go later after the game comes out. We've seen it time and time again. So they probably were going to lose their job anyway. And if they are talented enough, which, by the way, Ghost of Yotai looked like a really well-built game, those developers that are good will probably find somewhere good to land. But if they hold opinions like some of the opinions that I'm seeing, I don't want them to find any place to land. I want them out of the industry. Get them out of here. Gone. Because some of the things that are being said are so vile, so vicious to be said after the murder of a man, a father, a husband, that I can't compromise with these people anymore. So who are some of these people and what are some of the things being said? Well, Madam Savvy has compiled a pretty extensive list. And I also want to take the time to say, shout out Legacy Killer Online. He also was one of the first to actually kind of expose a lot of these guys and put together a short list, compilation of some of the vile things that were being said, mostly on Blue Sky. Surprise, surprise. So let's take a look at some of the people and some of the things being said here. This is Bruce Napick. Trust and safety at Epic Games. Oh, Epic Games. That's Fortnite, right? Among other different various games, right? So this guy is part of the trust and safety team. What does he have to say here? Silence may speak volumes, but when specifically you choose to break it, also says a whole fucking lot. That's a quote tweet over Chris Pratt praying for Charlie Kirk and his family. He also says, granted this is an old tweet over here, anyone willing to act as an ICE agent or assist them in their endeavors deserves no place in polite society and should be openly named, exposed, and vilified. Nice person. This guy, Dennis, is an SFX associate producer at Bungie. Yeah, Bungie. Making Marathon, right? Because they don't have enough problems already. But in the wake of Charlie Kirk's incident, he states, "What do I do next? I'll use my moment in the spotlight to say, free Palestine and protect the dolls. Here's a good one. Zib, they, them, and you can just tell by this bio. All right. They are a producer at MTG Arena, previously at Sucker Punch, and they reposted some things here. Rest in peace, Dad. You would have loved laughing at Charlie Kirk's Icarus moment. Charlie Kirk won't see your jokes about him getting you know what, but people who lost family or friends to gun violence might, and as one of those people, I say keep posting those bangers. Fuck Charlie Kirk. Real nice person. They also say and repost a whole lot of terrible stuff here. What's some other ones? Oh, Andrew Staley, who is currently working on Fortnite. He's an environment, material, and VFX artist. So a few epic people here, huh? He makes a post here. There aren't many people in this world whose death would make me smile. This is one of them. What a perfect time to be at a bourbon festival. Wow. Maybe you can see why I don't have any remorse for these people and their livelihoods anymore, their economic situations, if they get canceled, anything like that. Again, don't wish any physical harm on them because I'm not inhuman like they are. But yeah, as far as their livelihoods go, I don't really care. That same guy, Andrew Staley, yeah, he posted this here. It's really simple. He purposely agitated, called for the deaths of people I love, pushed the agenda of a fascist regime. He was what they call every conservative. And no, I won't feel bad about it. No sympathy for a fascist bigot. That one was liked by Pete Dimitrov, the senior environment artist at Rebellion on Sniper Elite Resistance and Sniper Elite 5. And this sort of thing in the video game industry and all that just continues post after post, as you can see here. Alana Pierce also making an appearance here. There was a post here from American Advocates saying that Charlie Kirk was this generation's Martin Luther King, etc., in their post. And she quoted the post by saying, ha, 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 what the fuck. But yeah, the amount of people, it's almost endless how horrific the rot goes of these inhuman garbage creatures that deserve to be exposed and have their jobs called for. I'm not compromising anymore. I'm not backing down. I'm not playing nice. I'm not trying to play the good guy and make kumbaya here. No, call for these people jobs. Repost these things from Madam Savvy here, tagging Epic, tagging things like Rebellion, Fortnite, Bungie, etc. And ask those companies, are these the kinds of people you want working for you? Are these the kinds of inhuman creatures you want developing your games? Something meant to entertain people. Because it's not what I want. People who don't view me as human because of the things that I believe, for the ideologies that I follow, and would be perfectly okay leaving my wife widowed and my child without a father if I were to go. And that's one of the most poignant posts that I think I've seen of all this. They came after Charlie because they don't know who you are. They would completely be okay with me being eliminated. They would completely be okay with you if you believe the same things I and Charlie and other conservatives do, being eliminated. And that's why I won't stand for it anymore. But the rot isn't only in video games, it's also in the greater entertainment industry, specifically in movie and television, right? And especially influencers and YouTubers and podcasters of those kinds of IPs that are particularly popular in genre television. People like Kyle Katarn here, who, surprise, surprise, has me blocked. Kyle Katarn, the influencer, one of those people that Disney brings in, right, to actually, get first glimpses of everything behind the scenes Star Wars, right? Host of the Dork Force podcast. I mean, look at this guy. He's out there hanging out with Filoni, right? Touting that he's rubbing shoulders with big wigs. He's got the inside scoop. Well, he was exposed on G&G stream today for being what we all kind of known he was, if you've seen a lot of his political posts, which is an absolute dirtbag creature like those video game devs I was just talking about. Because, as you can see here on the G&G daily stream, he states in their Blue Sky post that they show, I believe it was a Blue Sky post, it might have been Twitter, he states, yeah, it's a shame, but on the other hand, his wife and kids don't have to put up with Charlie Kirk anymore. By the way, under the post of this person, right, Kyle just replies, "Oh, are you gonna cry?" That's what I'm saying, man. These people, these creatures, these creatures, they do not think of you as people. They do not think of conservatives as humans. They have completely othered us. And to them, the violence is morally justifiable, morally acceptable, and to a lot of them, morally necessary. And that is a horrific, horrific place to be in society. And that is why I am not against these guys being exposed for the horrific creatures that they are, for them losing their livelihoods, losing their jobs, getting canceled, and being exposed and laughed at. I would never, ever want violence done to another human being. And yes, I know I call them creatures and all that, but they are, at the end of the day, a human being. And I would not want anyone that they love to have to go through the horrific suffering that Charlie Kirk's family is going through right now. Even though I know that they celebrate his family going through that. And that is the reason why I call them creatures, not humans. And it is important to amplify this and expose this and do those quote tweets and retweets and tag the companies that these people work for, because it's already having an effect. Because this comes to us from Popverse, and it's entitled DC Comics Cancels Red Hood Comic Book Series. And I won't go through the whole article, but basically the gist of it is there was a DC writer, Gretchen Felkner Martin, who was a transmission person who thought it was completely okay to just mock the death of Charlie Kirk. Not just once, but multiple times. And what happened was, not only was she fired from DC Comics, her comic was canceled. Shipments of the first issue of her comic are being either pulled or canceled or not being sent out. Or if they are being sent out, they're being reimbursed to the actual stores that got them. And you know what? This is a good thing. I don't care anymore, guys. For nearly a decade, people who hold the beliefs that I believe have been pushed down, denigrated, and demonized, called every kind of horrific name in the book, and made dehumanizing comparisons to evil organizations and governments. And now, when violence is starting to finally happen to people that hold the same beliefs that I do, you have two responses. You have responses from the leadership on that side of the aisle that say, oh, we got to tone down the rhetoric. Everything's getting such a high boiling point. Meanwhile, the other side of that side of the aisle is laughing and celebrating. And that's why I'm not going to be quiet about this anymore. Listen, this channel, other than this, is still going to try to be politics free for the most part. Focus mostly on the nuts and bolts of gaming news and all of that. But I just simply can't be quiet about this when such a massive event and turning point happens within the bounds of my country. And I want everyone to know that this is where I stand. But hey, those are just my thoughts on all this. If you have your own thoughts, go ahead and leave them in the comments. If you liked this video, go and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, appreciate you watching all of it, and we'll talk to you again later.